First of all, could you just give us a brief overview of the points you want to raise about this?
Thank you for having me this evening, firstly, and then touching base on the points that I essentially brought up in the context of my article. Essentially, the premise of the political point being made is that the wastewater treatment plant promise is not being fulfilled. This comes about a recent interaction between the Honourable Minister for the Environment, who was responding to comments raised by Verdemar, a Spanish foreign environmental group, which were criticising our wastewater treatment management and complaining that they wanted to basically...
Yes, our GBC interview from last week.
...take us out of the Emerald network. And on that reply, it just kind of was very... It was amazing to me to hear from the Honourable Minister, in essence, that they're still undergoing and engaged in a good negotiation process when last year, I think around 12 months ago, he already announced this company as a preferred bidder, when in fact we've had previous manifesto commitments saying that they'll complete it within the term of the Parliament. And this is a party that gets up at every election and says, this is a contract with the people of Gibraltar, and they seem to be breaching that contract every 4 years. So I just wanted to highlight that fact and then put pressure on the Honourable Minister that hopefully with enough mind and resources we can actually get this done.
Mm-hmm. You're criticising the GSLP Liberals for failing to deliver this during 3 consecutive parliamentary cycles, but the GSD was in power for 4 terms and didn't construct one. So do you think your comments are fair?
Well, I think it's fair because you need to put everything into context also, no? And firstly, I'll answer this in 2 parts. The context
in this case, in fairness to the government, we've had COVID hit and they were in the process of signing a contract with a different company that then went into liquidation, Northumbrian Water and Modern Water.
COVID hit in 2019 and really started kind of making a global impact in 2020. And in 2011, they said, we will develop the sewage. In 2015, they said, we will complete the sewage because it's already undergone through the procurement process and we can award the contract. So what Godeza said essentially last week, we've already heard before. And then in the GSD's case, like put into context, you're asking me to look back between 1996 and 2011. And I think the world has come a long way from that. We have environmental pressure groups like the Emerald Network that didn't used to exist. We're part of European environmental groups that kind of put regulations, pressures, and commitments that we need to comply with. And this isn't really a new issue because digging out, I found an article 2017 May when the GSD was criticising the government for the lack of the sewage plant development. And it came about because the European Court of Justice ruled that the UK was in breach of its obligations because Gibraltar was dumping raw sewage to the sea. It was 2017, just 5 years after they were in government, we were already criticising them. And this hasn't changed. The government then replied saying they were going to award the contract that year, and it didn't happen. And the relevance of my article now is because the Honourable Minister came out and brought the subject up again. But they brought the subject because last week GBC reported and put pictures of the sewage coming out of Gibraltar. And you can see that the water goes from dark blue to brown. It's like you're almost in a murky river.
Images from a particular period, they're stock images, so that's not the current situation all the time as we know it, of course.
Must regularly happen, though.
But you highlight that this is not a new issue.
No.
Why have you now, when the Minister has said, committed to some sort of timeline, he said in the next 2 years after the contract is signed, come back and highlighted all of this?
Because they had done this before. They've put in 2011, 15 and 2019 timelines where they said in 4 years, this contract, this manifesto, this promise that we make to the people will be completed, and they haven't done it before. And I just thought it was high time to kind of highlight and contextualize it in a way that people could easily see and understand. And I think the point was made.
Okay. Well, you've highlighted it hasn't been prioritised in the past. As we said, the Minister has now committed to a 2-year timeline post signing the contract. Are you satisfied that this is now going to be prioritised the way you'd like it to be?
Satisfied that he's come out and said that he's going to put all efforts to try and resolve this issue, but this is a bit kind of like the treaty. Everything's agreed once everything's agreed, and the fact that he said that we're still going through a negotiation process, could be the case that in a few months' time you can't agree on the terms of the tender process. So we may have to be finding another tenderer, another developer, and this saga will continue through 2027. So I'm hopeful for the better and of Gibraltar and for our environmental credentials. I just don't think we should carry on doing this. And hopefully we do resolve this saga, like I put it.